love sewing but you're short on time, this video is for you. With the holidays coming up and Black Friday right around the corner, this is the perfect moment to think about which sewing tools actually make sewing easier and more fun. I've curated 9 items that genuinely save time and reduce frustration, and they're perfect to keep in mind before the sales start. And definitely stick around because I have a bonus at the end that's given me more time for the creative, enjoyable parts of sewing than anything else on this list. Hi, I'm Victoria, and I help you sew practical, stylish accessories that are ready for real life and real adventures. First up is the bias tape maker, and this will save you so much time if you ever make your own bias tape. Instead of trying to fold both sides of the fabric towards the center by hand and trying to hold everything in place while you iron, the bias tape maker does the folding for you. You just feed the strip in, pull the little handle along, and press as you go. It cuts the whole process in half, and it makes long strips so much easier and faster to handle. The second item is a rotary cutter, and this one makes cutting fabric so much faster. Instead of the back and forth motion of scissors, you just glide your blade straight down the fabric and you're done. It gives cleaner edges, it's quicker, and since cutting usually takes up more time than actual sewing, this makes a big difference. If you go this route, you will need a self-healing cutting mat, and honestly, the most affordable option is to get a 3-piece cutting set. The mat, the rotary cutter, and a large acrylic ruler. It gives you everything that you need, and it makes lining up perfectly straight cuts so much easier. I've linked the set I personally use down below in case you want to check it out. Next is wonder clips. These save time because they're just so much faster than pins. Instead of picking the fabric up, maneuvering a pin through the layers, and trying not to stab yourself, you just slide a clip right onto the edge. Kind of like a tiny binder clip for fabric. They're quick, they're easy, and they hold everything in place without shifting. They only work on edges, so you'll still need pins sometimes, but for most projects, they make the whole prepping process so much faster. And if you think that saves time, wait until you see number 6. Next up is Thread Magic, a thread conditioner, and honestly, this stuff is amazing. It's one of my top recommended products because it solves so many problems before they even start. By conditioning your thread, you get fewer knots, fewer tangles, and way less hassle, which means more actual sewing. It helps your thread glide through your machine smoother, and it's great for hand sewing too because it helps stop those little knots that seem to appear out of nowhere. I just put it right on my machine and run the thread through it while I'm winding the bobbin. That way the bobbin thread gets conditioned. And that alone has eliminated so many issues that I used to have with the bobbin thread. Okay, this next one might sound boring, but it's surprisingly amazing. A mini tabletop trash can. I'm not kidding, this little thing has changed my sewing setup. Because instead of thread tails or tiny fabric snippets piling up all over my table or falling on the floor, as they inevitably do, I toss them in the bin immediately. And you save 100% of the time it takes to clean up a mess that never happened. The one I use is actually smaller than a phone, so it doesn't take up any space on my sewing table. I tuck it right behind my sewing machine, and honestly, I forget that it's there, except for the fact that it's adorable and works perfectly. Now it looks tiny, but it holds way more than you'd expect. Thread snippets and little trims don't take up much room, so you can sew a long time before it needs to be emptied. Mine has a swing top lid, which I love because you can just tap one edge to drop things in, and it swings shut on its own so nothing flies back out. And it also comes in a few colors. Mine is pink, but there's also black and white. I'll link the exact one I use below because this is genuinely one of those small items that makes sewing so much nicer. Item number 6 is KAM Snaps, and these were such a game changer for me. I was a little late jumping on the KAM Snaps train, but once I tried them, I can't imagine how I lived without them. Instead of spending forever hand sewing a snap in place, you just pop the pieces onto your fabric and squeeze your pliers. It takes maybe 2 minutes, and the whole thing is done. It's almost laughable how much faster it is. They come in lots of fun colors, which is a nice bonus, but the real value is the speed. And because you install them at the end of a project, you don't have to worry about sewing a snap-on at some awkward point halfway through construction and trying to hide all of those stitches. You just finish your project and add the snap last. No hassle, no planning, no messy stitches showing. I've linked the KAM Snap Kit I bought below. It's an affordable way to get started, and it includes several color options, the pliers and all, and different sizes of dies to allow you to use it with different snap sizes. And just a note, if you work with heavier fabrics or projects that need a stronger snap, you can also get metal spring snaps. They install after the fact with their own pliers, just like KAM Snaps, but they're sturdier and better for thicker layers. I'll link an affordable option for those too. Next is a disappearing ink fabric marker. This one saves you time because you don't have to wash any markings out. They just fade on their own in about 72 hours. It stays long enough for you to sew and then disappears without any extra steps. It won't show up for dark fabrics, but for almost anything else, it's fast, easy, and way less hassle than other marking tools. If you're finding this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe for more practical sewing content. And tell me your favorite time-saving tool in the comments. All right, let's jump into our last two time savers, but don't forget, we still have that bonus item at the end. Next is the Drawstring threader. This one's simple, but it saves so much time. Trying to fit a drawstring through a tight or long casing is a total nightmare. The threader is made just for this. You feed the drawstring through the loops at the end, through the casing, and it does the work for you. It's faster, easier, and honestly, the only way I'd want to do it. And our last official item is the Singer Steamcraft iron. This one's definitely an investment, but it saves so much time because it's made specifically for sewing. The biggest time saver is the 30-minute vertical auto shutoff. Most irons turn off almost immediately, but this one stays ready while you're sewing, so you're not constantly waiting for it to heat back up. It has a precision tip that makes it really quick to get into tight corners and small seams without fighting the fabric. And the water tank is larger than most at 300 milliliters, so you're not stopping to refill it all the time, especially if you use a lot of steam. It's also tap water safe with an anti-calcium filter and a self-cleaning function, which means you don't have to go out and buy special water or worry about buildup or stains on the sole plate. It just works, which honestly saves both time and headaches. It's not the cheapest iron out there, but for me, it's completely worth it. The longer auto shutoff and precision tip alone have made such a big difference. Now, before we get into our bonus item, just a quick reminder that everything I've talked about is linked in the description below, and there's even more tools and favorites over on my Amazon storefront. And now for our bonus item. I wanted to highlight something that isn't really a tool, but makes a huge difference, and that's a dedicated sewing space, even just a small sewing table. Back when I didn't have one, I'd sit down to sew for 30 minutes, but spend almost 10 minutes setting up on the dining table, and another 10 putting everything away. By the time I was actually ready to sew, the time was gone. Now I can just sit down, take off the dust cover, and start. No setup, no breakdown, everything's right where I left it. If your sewing time is limited, having a space that's always ready to go makes your sewing so much easier and way more doable. Now, if you're thinking about sewing some gifts for Christmas, you may want to check out this video. Bye!